diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Oh, big time, big time, big time.
Welcome to episode 389 of Fourth and Jawn. I'm Gail Saunders here with Evan Hollywood Hearn. Primo's on his way, but today we're talking about the 10-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Let me tell you something. We have been on a journey this season. It's been a great ride. Being in KC in the cold rain, weathering this storm, watching our Eagles mount a comeback, but having to sit there in the cold, in the rain, and to weather the storm. Fast forward to this week. Eagle fans were at home now, again, weathering the storm, watching our Eagles come back in a fashion that I haven't seen live in a long time. It's one of the best games that I saw live, and there was a point in time where a lot of Eagle fans, you could see the look on their face, like, what time am I leaving? Am I going to leave early, or am I going to sit this one in and stick around and root on your team? And there's a point in time where, just like the Eagles, the fans, you got to start believing. And this team, when you think about them, I think of the word unflappable. You look at that word in the dictionary, it says having or showing calmness in a crisis. I said in a crisis. And this team, I said team because it comes down to Jack Driscoll coming in for Lane Johnson. Didn't know he was playing to have a solid game. It takes a guy like Olamide Zaccheaus. We're going to say his full name. Know his name, okay? Because he comes up with a big play to help win this game. It takes a Devontae Smith when A.J. Brown is getting bracketed. We got 2 wide receiver ones on this team. It takes a whole damn team, and it takes an MVP like Jalen Hurts to calm the nerves of everybody on this team. It takes a BG to say, talk that shit during the coin flip in overtime. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about the team, and this team is unflappable. And I am so proud of this team. I feel like a proud dad. I'm riding on a high. Evan, where are you at right now?
I'm riding just as high, Gail. It's hard not to. I mean, like you said, you listed out all the things that had happened. And first of all, let me preface this by saying, if you were one of those fans that was looking at their clock, looking at their watch, and trying to figure out if they should be beating the parking situation after that first half, I tell you what. You hand in your season tickets right now, because if this Eagles team has shown you anything throughout this entire season, it's that they're not going to give up. This is an Eagles team that, we talked about. We were in our fields in KC, and we felt like all hope was not all hope, but we felt like it was a bad game. Things were going south. We went into halftime down 17-7. Sound familiar? And there was a gentleman that was sitting next to us, and we talked about how he told us, we're a fourth quarter team. Stand up. This is where we're going to come back. This is where we're going to make the comeback. It's exactly what happened. 2 games in a row, 6 days apart from each other, and 2 high-class teams. I, for one, Gail, I don't know about you, but coming off of the win that we had in KC and the fashion that we did it, and I'm thinking personally, even after that game, I think that KC is the best AFC team. After that, we go into a deja vu situation where we head into halftime 17-7 once again against the Bills. I didn't have any fear, Gail. I don't think I thought for one moment that we were going to lose that game. It don't matter how bad it had gotten. We simply have a QB that just has that winning factor, man. His X factor is he's going to go out and win the game. And I love all of these people out here that are still just trying to pump up the same sort of narrative that this Eagles team, it's not sustainable what they're doing. Their luck's going to run up eventually, blah, 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 freaking blah. No, it's not. This Eagles team is a bunch of winners, bro. And all these people saying, oh, they're not doing enough. I think they're doing just enough. I think this Eagles team is doing everything they need to do to win, and that's exactly what's happening. If they continue this sort of momentum into the playoffs, I have no doubt that we're going to be back in that Super Bowl. And I think we're going to be raising some hardware this year, bro. I'm feeling great about this Eagles team. I, for one, hand up, I grew up during the McNabb era. I missed out on the Randall Cunningham era. Obviously, things got real sloppy after McNabb. This is the most confident I've ever felt in an Eagles quarterback in my lifetime, if I'm being honest with you. Jalen Hurts has given me a newfound confidence that I didn't think was possible being a Philadelphia fan.
It's a proud moment because you see the development. I remember when I was working for NBC Sports as a draft analyst, and actually, like you had to follow kids coming out of high school and watching his development. Like I'm talking like watching his development from his from a throwing standpoint to
hair standpoint.
When he had the dreads and just like his story arc is amazing. But talent aside, I think him off the field, just what he's done in this locker room, and giving this team a level of confidence where, Brandon Graham is talking. Brandon Graham is talking to the opposing team, and saying, "You guys don't know Jalen Hurts like we know him. You do not know Jalen Hurts like we know him." He's telling this to Deion Dawkins, and it's funny because during the game, me and Prime, we were fortunate to sit behind the whole Deion Dawkins family. And they were giving it to us and they were like talking shit. And they were like, the weird thing was they were low-key Eagle fans.
They're Temple people, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. They had the Temple jersey on, a couple of them did. But it was just a weird vibe because they were talking smack the whole game. But it was a fun thing going back and forth. But at the end of the day, it's what he's added to this team is tremendous. Me and Prime got an opportunity to listen to him speak, a couple weeks ago, and just listening to him without the cameras, without the mics in his face, just him being. He said, "I'm not a rah-rah dude," and that still emanates with me. And the fact that he leads by example, and I feel like it's contagious. It's contagious, his whole vibe right now.
It is. And you see how I think one of the craziest things you brought up, BG, and that whole clip that's circulating online right now. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check out that mic'd up with BG. But I also want to just talk about the dynamic of like Brandon Graham is what, like 35, 36 years old now. And I get that, like, relatively speaking, they're both, in the grand scheme of things, younger guys. But for a 35, 36-year-old man to be looking at Jalen Hurts the way he does, I think it really speaks volumes. The way he was speaking about Jalen, like, you don't know Jalen like we know Jalen. He's talking about a 25-year-old kid, man. He's talking about a guy that has the absolute keys to the city at such a young age. And he is so level-headed, Jalen Hurts. He's so calm and collected and poised under pressure. Man, there's not many bad things to say. I mean, we have plenty of things that we could talk about in this game. It was a tale of two halves, man. I'm not gonna lie. The first half was not nearly as entertaining as the second half of this game, but like I said, like I know that we looked soft, and I know that this looked like a less than perfect Eagles team in the first half. But like I said, I never had a doubt, man. This Eagles team, if they've showed me one thing, is that they're not going to stop until the final whistle, man. And that's exactly what they did.
Now you talk about tail two halves. The first half, Hurts was 4 for 11, 33 yards, no tutties, 1 interception, passer rating of 7. Let me repeat, 7. Second half, Hurts was 14 for 20, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns, a rushing TD, no interceptions, and a passer rating of 134.8. I think in general, I think everybody's looking for these perfect games. And when you have to cook in different situations, in different scenarios, these players are coming up with plays. No matter any way you want to cook it, how you want it served, they'll serve it any way they're chefs at this moment. Because I think at the end of the day, they're able to, or if you want to compare them to a UFC fighter, they can fight on the ground, they can fight standing up, and if you want them to fight dirty, they can do that too. They can get in the alley, they hit you with the kidney shots, bro. They've got it. They've got it. They got it. They have the it factor. And again, like I'm alluding to your conversation about, is this sustainable? Well, like how, like this, like last year, last year the narrative was we weren't playing teams.
Yeah,
we weren't playing good teams.
Yeah, cupcake schedule.
Hey, Abby, would you like me to bring up the gauntlet?
Please. Did we start it yet? I'm curious.
Because you had mentioned that we are the gauntlet. Week 9, Cowboys, W. Week 10, we got a nice little rest. Week 11 at the Chiefs, W. Week 12, W. And we have the 49ers coming up. We'll be talking about that.
You know for a fact that like all these people that I know that there's people that are itching on the Eagles downfall and they want to say, oh, they've had so many good games in a row. This Niners game could be a trap game coming off that big Bills game. You're out of your mind if you think that these players haven't been looking forward to this 49ers rematch all season long. Trust me, it is not a trap game.
We will be breaking down the 49ers game on Thursday. Ever you can be around Thursday?
Keep talking.
So the Eagles open up as a 1.5 favorite, but the odds shifted toward the Niners, who are now a 3-point favorite at FanDuel Sportsbook as of right now. But again, I don't really care about any of these numbers because they don't know Jalen the way we know Jalen. We know it's going to be a great game, competitive, but that's after the fact of the Eagles and the Bills. We're talking about the Eagles and the Bills. There's a lot of shout out to people in the comments. I know everybody's fired up as we are. I think in terms of being excited, it's through the roof right now. Pete Nathan is riding high. He's not even high. But Mark Johnson, he says there's a chance that Evan is higher.
Always.
Like Brian had mentioned, he's like, I hate being a second half team, really, but I believe. And I think, the main thing to look at it is in the fourth quarter. Every football game, every player, where every team, you hold up your four fingers. My dorky ass is in the stands, like, because the fourth quarter, determines what your team is built of, like what's the DNA that this team has, and they have a winning DNA in the fourth quarter. I mean, as long as they're really doing their thing in the fourth quarter, you got to believe.
And like one thing that like I want to say too is that like it's not just a Jalen Hurts thing. You know what I mean? Like it with Lane Johnson going down beforehand, and dude, it's crazy to think about how much this team rallies. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter the opponent. It doesn't matter who's injured. This team always rallies and finds a way. And like we were just saying, the whole thing about it being unsustainable. Wins are sustainable. We have set ourselves up in a position right now that, like, first of all, I already write the Giants games off as W's, right? Those are easy W's to me. We also got the Cardinals on the schedule. If we just ignore the rest of the gauntlet and just win the games against these trash teams that we're supposed to win against, that's 13 wins right there. That's 13 wins right there. And I don't think that we have any sort of I don't think we're going to be stopping as far as our momentum is concerned right now. I told you I feel confident about the 49ers. It's tough to not feel confident about any of these opponents, man.
And I think just in terms of just these pundits, national pundits, it's funny that when your team is talked about as much as the Eagles are now nationally, to the fact that they're talking about, is this sustainable? Like, this is what you have to do to win in the playoffs. You have to beat good teams. And again, if you listen to the players from their own voices, they're saying that they have not played their best football. And some people don't like to hear that, but that's what they believe. and that's what they're saying. So I take their word for it.
And think about back to 2017, 2018 when we actually ended up winning it all. Obviously, that was a way different team, and obviously the circumstances were way different. But what is the one thing that we can all point to and agree on was a major factor in the fact that we won the Super Bowl? That was getting home field advantage. And all these people that, I feel like, and this was a conversation on the radio today on 97.5, but there is a faction of this fan base out there that would that it seems like they would rather have a couple more losses on the record if it means that they were blowing teams out, like how Dallas has done in a few games this year. How silly are you? How silly are you to have to think about that, man? That you would rather take a worse record and some blowouts. Man, we beat every team that we go up against. The Jets were a fluke situation. We have that throwaway game every single year, and it's what gets us right, and we figure out what we need to work on. 10-1, man. We got the best record in the NFL. If you are sitting here complaining about anything on this team right now, put it in the complaint box, man. It's the dumpster right out front of your house.
I mean, the one complaint that I'm getting is a lot of Brian Johnson. A lot of Brian Johnson hate. Obviously, with Frank Reich getting released of his duties again, Frank Reich is making $25,000 a day for the next 3 years. So I think he's good with the money. But that being said, he is Sirianni's mentor. If you're adding another cook to the kitchen, Super Bowl vibes. He was with us. But again, like we don't want to ruffle the feathers. But Brian Johnson, like, again, we talked about the turnovers early in the game. If miscommunication between Gainwell and Hurts kind of like, that was a kind of a bad handoff. And then the interception was fluky, but it was an interception. When we're talking about turning the ball over in our territory, if we don't do these things and get some drives, but, in the first half, you talked about the first couple drives. Did they believe that Driscoll was gonna? Maybe they wanted to test some things out. At the end of the day, they pulled it out, and there's plays at the end of the game that they dialed up that were freaking ridiculous. One play that just stands out in my head that I couldn't stop talking about is the anticipatory throw from Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith with 3 defenders lurking. The ball had to be perfect. He put it in a chef's kiss spot. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the development is lovely. The confidence, lovely. I was like, man, Jalen he's balling when he has, like, he has to be the man. And he is actually lights out, dude. The throw to Oz in the back of the end zone.
That one to me is
shit.
I think that I challenge someone to find a better throw Jalen Hurts has put out there this year. I mean, that throw was perfect, and to find Oz in the back of the end zone like that, man. That was like a 3rd and 16 too, wasn't it?
It was a 3rd and 15 play.
That was 3rd and long, and like that's what I mean is that, like, Jalen Hurts. If there's a Jalen Hurts, there's a way, Gail. If there's a Jalen Hurts, there's a way.
Yeah, I'm pretty giddy right now. I am pretty giddy, but just talking about some other positives from that game. We've talked about life after Hargraves and life after Cox. You never want to have an injured Cox, but our Cox was injured this game, and we had 2 guys in terms of Jalen Carter, who, again, anyone who's with us for draft season, was our number 1 prospect.
Yep.
By all of us in the chat. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted him. The fact that we do have him now is insane. But the fact that, there was one part of the game I'm looking at this team, or looking at the defensive line, and I'm like, how the hell did the NFL allow us to get Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter? Jalen Carter, Defensive Rookie of the Year, also a blocker of field goals. At the end of the day, Jalen Carter is doing what he wants to do, and it's amazing to watch. And the fact that Howie got cheaper and younger, and I dare I say better with bringing in Javon Hargraves and the fact that Jordan Davis, as big as he is, the fact that the little, I'm just talking about the effort, that play where he got, he's, how big is he? He's running full speed, giving it his all, dude. Like, if you didn't see Brandon Graham give it his all to get Dak out of it, this is how you show players the way, and this is amazing.
No, I mean, to see what he top out at like 16 miles an hour, Jordan Davis, like, dude, I wish I could move like that. He's like 340 pounds. But to your point about Jalen Carter, I mean, continually week after week, he just impresses you. And I think one of the things that I'm kind of taken away, as the more and more I get to know him and more I see his game mixed with his post-game press conferences, is that, dude, he's an extremely intelligent football player as well. I think that the way that Jalen Carter watches film is different than a lot of other, like, I think the way he processes film and his opponents and like their tendencies is just different. I don't know if it's something has clicked with him or what the thing is, but whether it be diving between the center's legs to try and intercept the spike, or just knowing on that kick like where to be to jump as high as he can. This dude watches his film, and I think for someone that is that young and that motivated, not only in the weight room but also in the film room, dude, he's gonna have a hell of a career, and I couldn't be happier that it's gonna be an Eagles green, man.
Dustin repeats, "We are the gauntlet." Pete Nason also repeats, "We are the gauntlet." I like that. That should be on a t-shirt.
I agree.
Mark Bird says the gauntlet is a conspiracy. And it's like every week the gauntlet starts with a different team. So again, it is what it is. Shay asks, how was the Bills fans' reaction when they had the lead at the game? They were very, they all of a sudden, they popped up. It was like, the Gophers in the middle of the field popping up, and they would look at each other like, try to get that energy. But then we had Prime that was like, keep that same, like Prime will always keep fans in check, like keep that same energy. So as those Bills left and the whole Dawkins family left, who he reminded us that he is Brian Dawkins' nephew as well. A lot of them also.
Oh, there is a relation there?
They're related.
I didn't know they were related. I thought
so. They left early. So me and Prime found them in the crowd, waiting outside. We went up to them and we said, "Hey, where'd y'all go? Where did y'all go?" They were good sports. One of them almost broke my back with the handshake. I think they're all football players.
Speaking of broken backs and Buffalo, I mean, I continued the tradition, Gail, at the tailgate.
I missed it. I didn't get to see. I saw someone had posted it, but it was pretty impressive.
Hey, thanks. I was working on that form.
Yeah, I mean, only young guys can do that.
No, it was. But I mean, I hate to bring down such a fun game in that conversation, but I feel like we have to talk about that tailgating situation.
Dennis wants to talk about it. Dennis says, not to go off topic, fellas, can you give a better breakdown to the parking this past weekend? Will we have an issue this weekend for Lot D? I think Lot D should be okay. Lot G, what's going on? There's a lot of people that are like, promoting stuff, and they're taking up a lot of parking spots. But I never really complain about the Eagles too much, like the Eagles, the organization. But in terms of, there's a lot of people out there doing good. There's a lot of diehard Eagle fans that are out there early in the morning to get a parking spot. These are just also family members who have spent years and years tailgating. So a lot of these people have their particular spot. We're talking about, we want to have that good vibes. You want to the good luck charm of being in the same tailgate spot. Well, that didn't happen in Lot G. They made people park where they assigned you. So they gave you an assigned parking spot. And it was the weirdest, dumbest thing, because the security guards are telling you to do this, but they know it's a really stupid idea. They said, "Hey, you got to park here." I said, "Our tailgate's way over there." They said, "All right, we'll let you go and park here. We know that you got a tailgate. So they'll let me drop off our stuff." And I tried to hide it out for half hour. Then they sent security over, and they're like, "Hey, you got to move your car back over to other spot." And I said, "Does that make any sense?" He's like, "Dude, I know it doesn't make any sense." I was like, "You're just doing your job."
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and that's the shittiest part about it, is that like ultimately these decisions are being made by people that aren't down there in the lots on Sunday, and the people that are just sitting there enforcing it are catching the brunt of it from everybody, including myself, who I arrived. I was like, I need to fucking yell at somebody, bro. It was super aggravating, man, especially for me and you, Prime, the whole crew. We have traveled to many stadiums. Very fortunate to travel to many different away games. And as the resident bathroom connoisseur, I can tell you that Philadelphia, the Linc, has some of the worst bathroom situations going on in the country. Okay, the porta potty situation is bottom of the barrel in the country. And for you to not only, we show up, we pay for a parking spot, we don't get to decide where we park, and then you don't even clean the porta johns. Like, it's kind of disgraceful, if I'm being honest with you.
The funny thing is not the funny thing is when you watch a guy like Evan carrying a grill on his back because the parking lot is closed because they're only allowing permit people. Now, what this does to the parking situation, it makes it that all these people that want to pay money with their card, they can't now. They're moved to a different lot. So all these people that don't have permits can't get in. Now these people with the permits, who are hardly anyone, because the permits are like $150.
Yeah, $150.
Crazy amounts of dollars.
That's per game. That's not like a flat fee. That's a per game you pay $150.
So when it's normally $45. So the fact that nobody wants to pay a parking permit price, but by the time all these people have gone the other way, it is now around hours later, and now that section lot G is closed. Yep. So now these people, the organization is not getting the cash money because the lots are closed.
Supposedly what had happened, I can't verify that this is what happened, but word on the street is that at the last home tailgate, the owners of the lot had sent up a drone, and they were looking at the
drone gate.
Yeah, they were looking at all of the empty parking spots. They were looking at all of the spots that were, people double parking, that sort of thing, so that they can have more spaces to allow them to throw a tailgate. They were just counting up empty parking spots, and they said that we're missing out on too much money, and that's what forced the assigned parking thing. It's a tough situation, if I'm being honest with you, because
I get it.
I think I get it. I understand why you want to get money, but the thing is that it's screwing with everybody's like, their spots, their traditions, where we meet up. And I get that the suits don't care about that; they just care about the bottom line. So it's a tough situation to be in, because I don't really see it changing. I think that this is going to continue to happen, and it's one of those situations where we just have to kind of deal with it and figure it out. They don't care that it's ruining tailgates. They just care that they're getting more money. So,
it's all about the vibe sometimes. And shout out to Jesse. He's making his first time at the Linc coming this Sunday. And hopefully just follow our socials. We'll tell you where to go. I tried to give an update, and it was just annoying as shit. But I was just like trying to give everyone an idea of where we're going to be at. So the fact that people didn't get too lost was great. So I'm glad that people actually made it. And shout out to the people that actually, had a good time and weathered the storm and just overall had a good time. Because me personally, I was like, man, I feel bad. I feel bad because we're, I'm just like, I felt bad. But how did you feel, Prime? I mean, coming in hot. How you feeling?
What's going on? Feeling great, man. Still kind of recovering from Sunday, bro. I mean, listen, we were the real ones that stuck it out through that game. Eventually, we did talk about exiting a little bit early, the way things were going, the conditions we were in, the shit that we were dealing with all day. But I'm glad we gave each other that look and decided to go ahead and stick it out with the team like we normally do, and that's what we did, man. The outcome was great. It was a good time. I gotta say it's probably one of the best games I watched all year in that stadium this year. So it was fun.
There was one time I had pushed Prime the farthest I had ever pushed him, and he I think he went like 7 rows, and then he just turned around and was like back to normal. And because I think we were just in a state of like shock, of like I can't believe what we're watching. I mean, first let's talk about the fuck. Like, I'm not to swear, but let's talk about the fucking
not to swear.
Yeah.
In the rain.
Let's put some respect on Jake Elliott's name, bro.
59 yards
give
in
a
the
shout
rain.
out to my co-host.
Yeah.
My co-host, because you know what I mean, my boy came through. Wow, 59 yards in the rain.
Yep.
In the rain. Like it was great to see, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Evan, my head was turned. My head was turned when the kick was being made. My head was turned. And when Gail reacted, the fans reacted, we all reacted. And I mean, it was just like, holy shit. Like, it was crazy, bro.
I for one, I got to be honest with you. I turned to my roommate. We were watching the game at my place. And I said to him, I was like, if there was anybody on earth I wanted to make this kick right now, it's Jake Elliott. So I had confidence. And then, dude, like, it's one of those situations. You remember how Jake used to be a lot less accurate from shorter yardage? My man has never in his whole career not been accurate from deep, and he's always been clutch. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw that stat, but I think he's either 7 for 7 or 8 for 8 now in either tying in the fourth quarter or winning.
I got some numbers for you, Ev. I almost called you Elliott. Jake Elliott became only the 5th kicker in NFL history with 3 career field goals of at least 59 yards. Man is 9 for 9 on game tying or game winning field goals. That's in 100%. His career, and is 3 for 3 from 59 yards plus. I think we have to have tip Prime, because he was also in a commercial with Jake Elliott.
Yep.
Gave him some words of wisdom that he needed to hear. But like a couple podcasts ago, when I told you I was watching him kick at the New York Jets game, and he was banging 59, 60-yard kicks, and I was like, God damn, Jake is killing him. And the fact that he missed that one kick, that's why I was so shocked that game that he missed. I was like, bro was not missing a damn thing. But
did anyone else notice that? And I think it's one of the dumber things that happens, but I understand why it happens. Did you guys notice that they didn't ice him? I thought that was pretty.
They did ice him.
They tried. Yeah, they called the timeout, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what I was just getting ready to talk about. Even though I turned my head to not see the kick, I gotta say that when I saw him, when they called the timeout, Jake Elliott had explained to me when we were in the process of making that commercial together, he has like this little system where he doesn't really talk to nobody. He stays to himself. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to these clutch moments, he's kind of like the pitcher on the bench.
No hitter.
At a baseball game that's in the process of about to get a no hitter. He's focused. He's all in. So that's what he did. And then when they called the timeout, he ran from the huddle. He ran up back like maybe about a good 15, 20 yards to stay away from the conversation, from anybody even saying anything, to getting in his head, whatever. And then when the commercial timeout came back, he walked back into the huddle. And then that's when I turned my head and, and just waited for this thing like, holy shit. When like I said, when he made the field goal, I was like, yo, Jake's got his system. He's got his system down pat. And then look at these numbers that Gail just threw up. It speaks for itself. That's the reason why he's got that little system he's got going on.
Now, early in the season when he banged a crazy kick, I think it was against the Vikings, maybe. I saw him doing like these mental reps in his head. He ran out and he was like kicking like he was about to kick it. Meanwhile, the other team was on the other side of the field just getting ready. I was like, this guy is on another level in terms of just being a guy that, like, if you saw him on the street, you wouldn't know that he had GOAT status. Like, you would think, bro is just a regular degular, but that dude is far from regular degular. He's one of the most competitive players on this team in terms of other competitive sports that they play. Shooting hoops, home run derbies. We've seen him almost win. We've seen him. We've heard about his abilities in other competitive games they have. He's just a all around
Great
OG.
athlete. Yeah. And he is, I without bias, he is one of the best kickers in the league. I mean, everybody and their mother, except for Eagles fans, would tell you that Justin Tucker still has that nod, but he's chipping away at him, man. He's chipping away.
Kickers are people too, man.
Not only are kickers people too. I put out there the night that we won. Listen, the moments that Jake Elliott has had, and this is only like, it's not a super long time he's been here. I think he's been here since 2016 or 2017. But for all of the moments he's had, whether it be the catalyst to starting the run in 2017, where he kicked that 62-yard bomb against the Giants, whether it be winning the Super Bowl, whether it be games like these, dude, he's approaching having his jersey in the rafters. I know people don't want to hear about it for a kicker, but you got to give respect to respect's due.
I mean, he played a big factor in our Super Bowl run because, I mean, if it wasn't for that 61-yard field goal, yeah, you're right, Evan.
We don't have the Super Bowl run last year either.
Right, but he still has plenty of time left in the tank, man, for him to go ahead and add on to these stats. So, yeah, it's definitely a resume he's building up to being part of that jersey getting hung up or retired. So I'm with you.
Shout out to Anthony Sinwell. He's living in the Buffalo area, so this week he gets to pump his chest in his hometown area. I mean, that's thing that you like, man.
Did you talk about our audience we had in front of us?
The Dawkins, the Dawkins clan, which was very interesting.
Very, very interesting.
Because they all were smaller dudes, and I'm like, yo, your bro is like 6'5". How did you guys get short end of the stick? They're like, yo, we players too, bro. We're players too. I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's cool. Coach Wood is happy.
That was an interesting crowd to have in front of us that night. I mean, my man.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, my man made it very clear who he's there representing. I mean, he was saying it with his chest and everything, like, yeah, that's my brother. And then I don't know, I mean, like at times when he was coming in for the dap and everything, my man was like, you know what I mean?
Oh, did he break your arm too? He tried
broke
to.
my arm and back, like, Jesus
bro, that's
Christ.
right.
Like,
I told Ed the same thing. I'm like, bro, he tried to break my back.
Yeah, like I get it, bro.
Back
like,
is
all
broken.
right, that's
Fine.
But I mean, it was all love. But I mean, so it was two brothers, and supposedly these guys were actually older than my man that plays for the Bills. So the one he was saying that he was the Eagles fan, but they're representing the Bills, his brother. I get it. So he was like all over the place with the cheering and everything. Like, you know what I mean? 1 minute he's cheering for us, the next minute he's cheering for them. I was like, okay. The other brother was around for a little bit, but then, you know what I mean, he started like ghosting a little bit. And then there was that one dude that was just there the whole game. And the shit talking, the level of the shit talking was great, man. I mean, you know me by now, when I'm at these games, I'm all about finding who's going to be my bitch for the game. And as soon as they were walking in, like, yeah, I had a whole row of bitches. You know what I mean? So I was good. And then there was especially this one that really stuck out where he was talking shit, but he was talking shit behind two bigger gentlemen. He was literally behind them, but talking that shit like up in the air.
But he was like 5'4" too. He was 5'4".
Yeah, but he was talking all that shit like up in the air. And they're like, fuck y'all Eagles fan. And then hide it. Fly, Eagles, fly. I hate that fucking song. And then hide it. So I'm watching this dude. I'm like, you know what? You know the fuck, man. If you're going to fucking talk shit with your chest. Like, get the fuck in front of the line and talk. Like, stop with the hiding shit. Yo, they started laughing. I was like, yo, these Buffalo boys are crazy. I was like, yo, is that your man? Your man's is a bitch, yeah, because he's over there hiding, talking shit. Like, if he gonna talk, let him talk. He was just like, oh, nah. Then all of a sudden he started working his way to the front, but he wasn't talking that much shit, man. It was just like,
I think while we're on the topic of talking shit, I mean, we could talk about one of the other bigger stories that came out of this out in the stands. I mean, how about that big old baby Jordan Phillips getting my man shoving a fan
Well,
Was
Did you see the shit that
was
came out today?
Was it Lawson who actually shoved him?
And Lawson actually went up to his face, but Phillips, like Evan said, is the one that actually pushed him. It was a lot of, Lawson claimed these guys were threatening him, his family, and all that stuff. Like, look, man, I've been to games. I just didn't see it. And then, Evan, not to mention, we had an actual CSC security worker show up to the tailgate. I know you were occupied with getting the grill and all that stuff ready. I'm not sure if you met him. I think his name was Joe. I can't remember right now. But anyway, we were really shooting the shit. It was his first tailgate. He's been wanting to attend our tailgates for the longest, but of course he has to work. So we're talking, and he told me, like, all these conversations people do have on the field, especially players. Like, players come out the mouth with shit talking to the fans
because they can get away with it.
Right. What was described by Phillips about this fan, it was what the guy was telling me is the total opposite of what players actually say to fans. You know what I mean? Like, they're the ones threatening families and shit like that. Like, they're the ones, you know what I mean, talking real cocky out the mouth because, yeah, they could get away with it because they're players. But then I go back to seeing, and he claimed again that he was getting threatened. But I just sent you guys like 2 minutes ago a video. This man, not one time do you hear him saying, he was just really laughing it up and telling them that he's butthurt about how we came back and how we kept on, how we did what we were doing in that game. And that was it. That's all you heard in that little video. Now, mind you, it was just a small clip, but I don't see.
To your point, there's been, I saw initially, it play out where the push happened, and then we're waiting on information to come out about that. And then Phillips ends up saying that he was making threats to his life, his family, yada, yada, yada. And then the footage of people that were actually filming around that area, that started to come out. And you don't hear any of that. You don't hear any of that shit talk that this player is claiming that was made. But you do see the players out on the field, and they're doing the, I'm going to put you to sleep type thing, all those types of things. The players are saying, I didn't hear one other than just simple, ribbing of like, you guys are losing. Like, I didn't hear anything that was egregious, that was worthy of a shove. I got to tell you, though, that guy that got shoved, he lived the life that night. You think about watching that comeback as an Eagles fan, and then you get to sue a weak-ass Bills player for assault. You dumb.
What?
I mean, I would have went home and had my roommate just punch me in the shoulder as hard as he can do. Look how this fucking bruised, bro. Look what he did to me.
Yo, I wanted to be that fan so bad. I told
dude, he got the bag.
Yeah, as soon as I came home yesterday, and when they started announcing it on ESPN, I'm telling Autumn, I'm like, yo, God, I wish that was me. Like,
dude, that. And like, the thing is, it won't go to trial. They'll settle, but he'll settle for like $30,000, bro.
But exactly. I even announced it at work today. Like, God, I wanted to be that fan because, one, I'd be getting paid. I'd fuck around and quit this goddamn job today if I could. Two, you know what I mean? Like, I'm that guy. How I saw the video of him like mocking him. I'm that guy. I would have been laughing like, yo, you butthurt. Like, that's me. Like, and that guy, that's all he was just doing. And for them to go ahead and get that upset, like, it was crazy, man.
And bro, really, like, you think about how, like, a fan, they are going back to the assigned parking, assigned seating, all that. Like, a fan, they have like a 1 square foot area that they're allowed to stand in the game. You got your seat. That player went right up to him, bro. It's not like the fan approached him.
Exactly.
That player went up to him. They can stand wherever the hell they want on the sideline. Right. You got yourself into trouble, bro, and you deserve to get fined. You deserve to get suspended, and we'll see you in the playoffs, maybe. Loser.
Shout out to Nady with the sheet. He shout out to he put 4th and Jawn on the sheet, man.
Yeah. Big shout out to Chris.
If you've been hiding on a rock, or you just or you were Han Solo and you're frozen for like a decade or something, not know that Nady has the epic signs at the end of the game. It's a must see TV after every W, after every game. Nady's got something going on with the sign. I still don't know how he gets that off and figures out that stuff, but he does. He does. Michael says there's more rain on Sunday, potentially. I'm kind of tired of the rain, man.
Bro,
you.
I'm exhausted with the
of the
rain.
man.
I got home. Caesar says he's still soaked from that day. When I got home, when I got back, when we left the game, me and Prime were sitting in the car because this traffic was everywhere, and Evan Hollywood Hearn's cheesesteak bread, leftover bread. Prime was like, yo, I still got one. I got one roll left. I got a couple rolls left. And I said, yo, you got an extra? And me and him were sitting in the car.
Just eating bread?
Just eating bread. You ever see that meme of that little black kid where he's just eating the bread, his eyes are closed, and he's like, that was me. I was like, and I was so happy, man. I don't think I haven't been that happy. I think I was so happy. The car smelled like wet cat urine and smelled like victory as well. From a good tailgate, but also from a great game. But shout out to Evan Hollywood. The bread was amazing.
Hey,
yeah, bro.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've done the same thing on it was a couple weeks ago. I was going to, it was one of the morning tailgates, and I think it was the one versus KC just last week. But I was chilling in line for a minute, and I was starving. And I just topped out a line. I just cracked into the bag of bread in the back. I offered a roll to the person that was sitting behind me in line. I'm like, you want an empty roll? I don't know how hungry I'm starving.
When I saw that bag sitting over there, I was like, oh, hell no. I've tied that bad boy up. I threw
Those are good rolls, bro. Make some meatball sandwiches or something?
The best ones. I still actually brought 2 back home, and I made cheese and salami sandwich yesterday.
Can I live too? Can I live too?
Yeah, I mean,
next time. Shout out to Marissa with the breaking news. You broke it before we could break it, but Jennifer Slay said she is coming to the tailgate this weekend, and she's bringing the famous banana pudding. So last time she served the banana pudding, it got a little nutty, so you're gonna have to get there early to get some.
She showed up at the perfect time last time.
Yeah, so I mean, it gets a little. There will be a. I'm sure Prime will let everyone know where they should stand to get the banana pudding because we'll be serving it up. So the banana pudding is amazing. I'm just being honest. It's classic. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm nervous about this parking situation, but we will prevail.
And I think
we always do.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Eagles, they find a way in the 4th and Jawn tailgate or the podcast. We find a way. We could tailgate anywhere. We could pop up anywhere. Mm-hmm. So like the Eagles, we can win in various ways. But if we get back to some, we want to give out our offensive MVP. I'm gonna have to go with Jalen Hurts on this one, hands down. I guess he just leads the ship, and the Eagles team, man, is way better with a guy like Jalen Hurts on this football team. MVP status too, by the way.
Yeah, I think I want to be different and choose a different person, but I think after that game, man, it's impossible not to go Jalen Hurts. I mean, he put the entire team on his back. With Jalen Hurts, I mean, you heard Brandon Graham say it where he was talking about, you don't know Jalen Hurts like we know Jalen Hurts, because as soon as Buffalo kicked that field goal and we had time to march down the field, I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, you gave us too much time. And it's amazing to be an Eagles fan and to have that, because I remember years ago, like that was reserved for the Packers fans and the Aaron Rodgers of the world, where you give him a minute 30 and a timeout, Aaron Rodgers can march down the field on you, no problem. I now have that feeling with Jalen Hurts, where like you give him a minute and a half. He's had so many game-winning drives just this year, just these past 2 weeks. How could you not be confident in the man? And yeah, dude, I think Jalen Hurts has got to be the offensive MVP.
Who do you got, Brian?
I'm gonna go because y'all named Jalen. It's definitely Jalen, but I'm gonna also show love to Devontae, man. He came in clutch with the two big plays that he had. I mean, he definitely was big, and you can either go Swift or Devontae, because Swift was key as well. Man. Yeah, I mean, listen, all I'm gonna say is that whole second half, these guys made the adjustments that needed to be made, and they came through with the big W. So I mean, like the offensive MVP, honestly, can be shared all amongst those guys. They all did their thing, and it was key, clutch,
Now,
man.
to your point, Prime, Devontae Smith, in terms of AJ Brown getting the bracket and the fact that he's only had 111 yards the last 3 weeks. That's AJ Brown. Devontae Smith has 23 catches for 355 yards and 3 TDs in his last 4 games. He's showing up big time. He's on pace for 85 catches for 1,140 yards and 8 TDs. Again, like that was another one of our 4th and Jawn selections.
Yeah.
In the offseason. Very high on him. I love the pick. I love the mental makeup. I just love everything about.
Why do you think that AJ Brown has been kind of? I mean, he had a decent game. He had some nice clutch catches in there, but why do you think he's been kind of lost in the sauce the past couple?
He's just getting bracketed. And again, when I went on that Chiefs podcast, Arrow Addict, I told him that if I'm any defensive coordinator, I'm bracketing the hell out of him, doubling him, and making someone else beat you. And Devontae Smith is showing that you can't do that because your CB2 is not good enough to cover him. And bro, that one that he caught in the seams was Jalen was like, put it like when your quarterback throws you a ball in the seams and you're a wide receiver, you know that you can either get your teeth knocked out if his safety's in the mix, but he's like, yo, thank you to Jalen for throwing me a ball where it wasn't a murder ball.
So that's what I just wanted to get to is that like you look at especially between him and Josh Allen, like the two different like throwing styles, and obviously Josh Allen has been like people have said shit about Jalen Hurts throwing picks this year. Josh Allen has been the league leader so far, and you look at the touch that Jalen Hurts puts on the ball and how he just kind of floats it in there. It's a very catchable football, whereas there was a couple passes from Josh Allen, and I think, a couple of them were even completions, but dude, he rifles that fucking thing, bro.
As a wide receiver, I would hate when quarterbacks would just show off bro, you don't have to be Favre.
Yeah.
Bro with touch. So
or
I could
Dan
run
Marino, because Dan Marino used to miss them bitches in there too.
Bro, and it's the rain. Like you don't know when you don't need to show off the arm when you don't have.
But the key thing is it wasn't our quarterback doing it; it was there. So I mean, and then you got Diggs, who is all pro wide receiver. I mean, there was a couple drops on his behalf as well that somewhat with those balls that were getting there. Minus the rain, I get it, but hey, listen, man, you're in the NFL for a reason. You should be making those catches. But I gotta say, I'm glad you did it.
Gonna come up with our defensive MVP.
I think it's JC, man, for me. Jalen Carter, continues to ball out, continues to get penetration, and then he also had that blocked kick, man. I don't think that we end up in overtime had he not gotten a paw on that ball, man. So I'm gonna give it to Jalen Carter for an all-around effort.
Let's see, bro. I think Carter was tough. I think who else was tough?
Jordan Davis.
Brandon was playing his game.
Brandon
was playing his game. I would love to give a whole lot of credit to Bradbury, but the interception was key, was big. Shout out to Gail for making the call on that one. That was the reason why we had a shoving match going on there. Damn guy sitting there. He's like, yo, he's about to throw the Diggs. Bradbury comes in there, makes the interception. This is where Gail pushes me like almost half down the aisle. I go down there. I'm like, okay. I back.
That's why these seats are so key because you get to see the all 22. And I'm like, I was like, yo, I said, Josh is about to throw the out. He's gonna throw the out. I was like, the Diggs to out, and the fact that Bradbury, they had him in a bind. They played him well. They kind of baited him into that, and then that's he. I love when they roll off coverage and pick off QB. That's like the best kind of interception. Who had the last one? Byard had one. No, I think
talk about the previous game.
I know Bradbury had a couple last year, like coming off of coverage.
Bradbury.
Slade's got a couple like that too. Who else did anyone in the chat?
They were saying a lot of BG. There was Jordan Davis was thrown out there. Cunningham, I think, was a good one.
Oh, sorry.
Kelly Wilson mentions how Cunningham has been big this season, and obviously he went down, but
Ellis came in and made a huge
huge
stop.
play.
Yeah, made a
He
huge
did
stop
miss.
on the running back.
He did miss that play where I think Bradbury thought he had an inside help, and
Yeah.
Ellis just fired up. So it is what it is. I missed. There was a question that a lot of people were seeing the post. If you were following our social media feeds, been trying to keep you guys updated. Shaq, or Darius Leonard, as you want to call him, he left Dallas with no contract. So he's coming to the Eagles for a visit tomorrow. This is words from Mr. Clark. He said that he'll be at the NovaCare tomorrow. He's coming to a situation where he has a relationship with Sirianni. Also, at the same training facility, he trained with Devontae Smith. So they're pretty good friends. So, a little Ren and Stimpy action.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty confident that I think that he ends up leaving the building with a contract. The thing is that like it's expectation. So like, what is your expectations for? Let's say we were to sign Shaq Leonard. Like, what kind of impact do you anticipate out of him? Because
I think
it's one of those things where we're kind of getting caught up in the name type thing. Like I think there is a reason that he's available right now, and I think there is a reason that he left Dallas without a contract. Like have those injuries finally caught up to him in his career? Is what I'm thinking.
I think he dealt with the injury. Is he the same person? Yeah, I don't know if he's the same exact person, but I think this day and age when you need depth and you need a player with his experience, we'll take it. I mean, we're out there running Van Sumeren, a undrafted linebacker from Michigan State. Well, I'm not. You get the opportunity to play as a UDFA. That's cool and all, but we're a team that it's contending, and the way our linebackers are set up with Nakobe Dean out at the moment and Cunningham dealing with a hamstring, that leaves you with Ellis and a lot of prayers on your hands. Morrow is Morrow. Like you saw him get beat in space against what's his name? Their running back. Drops happen. He got the MVS award this week for drops. So I like that. I mean, you just want to bring some talent in to compete, and I think at this point in time, as you saw, the Eagles just waived Josiah Scott, who was also, shout out to you for your service the last couple weeks when you had to play, were forced to play. But I think he was the one guy. Once I saw him get released, I was like, bro, they gotta be signing.
Well, I mean, Evan, yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point. I mean, it's definitely a thought that it has crossed my mind. Like, you left Dallas today with no contract. Is there something we don't know that they may have seen? Is there something out there about you? Has Father Time caught up to you? I mean, yeah, I know you're 28 years old, but I mean, you're playing in the NFL. The body takes a beating for so many years. It starts dwelling on you. But could it be the total opposite? Gail mentioned he has a relationship with Sirianni. He has a friendship with Smith. The atmosphere here in Philadelphia, could that be playing a factor? Could the 10-1 record be playing a factor? You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of things that we could actually look at this. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I know this man is Darius Leonard. I've watched him. He's great. He's a good linebacker. I think it would definitely be a step up. And I'm not taking nothing away. I don't hold back from linebackers. I've already proven that. I already made that comment at the autism, and I don't have no fucks given when it comes to letting people know if we got a real running back, linebacker or not. We had high hopes on Dean. That didn't go well, so we got to do something. I mean, bro, we're all in. We are all in this season again. So why not? I mean, yeah, the name speaks for itself. Leonard is key. So I mean, I think it'll be a slight upgrade from what we got. You put all three of those pieces together, you know what I mean, some way, somehow it's going to go ahead and complete that puzzle.
And, I just want to touch on this one thing. I love Linc, comes to the tailgate all the time, but he says we need to value linebackers more. I used to be a believer of this, Linc. I used to be, but the way that we just keep on winning, I don't know if we do need to value linebackers more.
Well,
I think Howie Roseman knows more than we do personally.
Nah, I mean, I think athletic. The one time that I pushed for linebacker heavy, and again, I should be on the staff, guys. Fred Warner from BYU at the time, I was like, that's the guy. Like, that's the guy you go get.
JOK still performing well, by the way.
And that
Throwing
one,
that one out there.
Ev should be on the staff too. I think we should get a little cheese here. But I think in terms of getting, they should value more athletic linebackers. Because right now who was the other linebacker? We had Nigel Bradham.
Mm-hmm.
We had Michael Kendricks the Super Bowl year, and then
Najee Good.
Yeah, Najee Good. I remember him in space getting cooked. That was the first touchdown they scored, I believe. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, a team that has won with those kind of linebackers, just get one. Just get one dog. Just get one dog.
Well, I think Dean was supposed to be that dog, and they were anticipating him being that dog this year. But
So who's your unsung hero? Marissa out here says her unsung hero is Oz.
Number 4, Jake the leg. Jake Elliott. I mean, and I get that, like, a lot of people, I'm not so sure if are going to view him as unsung, but like as a special teams player, as a kicker, shouldn't get lost in the conversation. He was a major reason but pretty much the reason that we went to overtime, and gave us a shot to win that game. So, got to give my flowers to Jake.
I think there's a whole bunch of unsung heroes. Like the beginning, my intro, I try to name off some players, but I like you talk about Driscoll coming in. He just said, coming in, they were like, how did you deal with that? He's like, my job is to be ready. Again, we talk about, I'm going to go, Oz. Like Oz, he's another guy. His job is to be ready. Like we talked about production from wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4 and what that would look like, hoping that we would get that from Quez Watkins, Olamide. I put the pronunciation so that you could put some respect on his name. Olamide Zaccheaus. He has 7 receptions on the year, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the season. Oz is showing up when the other guy, who also has a Z at the end of his name, isn't showing up. This Oz is, okay? So I feel like, he doesn't have that many targets, but when your number is called, this is how you become an unsung hero. And our beat reporter was like, what was going through your head when you that ball was up in the air? He said, catch that shit.
Relatable.
And he's a hometown kid. Imagine the high right now we went way too far without mentioning. I'll give another unsung hero to DeAndre Swift. Jalen calls him the igniter. Like he ignites his offense. I think there's a lot of runs he's shown his ability. His jump cuts, his change of direction has been phenomenal. He's a beast right now.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely is. Have you had already mentioned Jake, and Jake definitely deserves the reward. But the name that people keep mentioning here too is Zaccheaus, man. Seeing that live, seeing the way Jalen was kind of like leading him down, kind of directing him. Like if in the play, Jalen is telling him to just keep going further back, like go back there, and we're there not realizing that it was Zaccheaus. We're thinking it's one of the key wide receivers like AJ or Devontae, and here this guy gets in the air. Like it was just so cool to see live. He jumps up in the air and he made that catch. Everybody stood up. You didn't see the part of him coming down. Well, I couldn't see that part because everybody stood up. But, man, it was just like another moment with me and Gail. Like, me and Gail, we just kept on pushing each other. Like, we could have been fighting. Like, that's how much pushing we did. Like, it was crazy. Like, to see that shit live, to see that kid catch that ball, it was a great moment for him. And I'm glad he got to have it because, like, he's been clutch. I know the stats really ain't much there, but, The 2 TDs that he has have been clutch.
And I think that I think something gets forgotten about in all of this is that dude, we went through hell with poor wide receivers on this Eagles team. I mean, before we got AJ, before we got Devontae, it was Drek, man. And there was 2 wide receivers in particular that were the bane of our existence. That being Jalen Reagor and Jawn.
Yeah.
And this has been like, when I tell you night and day about like what I think about our wide receiving core, and like those are back end guys. Like when we at the end of the Jawn and Jalen Reagor era, they were wide receivers 3 and 4. They were not key guys that you lean on, but just the fact that they were lingering there, you had this doubt about this team, about this wide receiving group. But now, like, it's a bunch of dogs, and that's exactly what you need. You need to remove the cancerous parts from the team, and you are left with dogs. And like I see a guy like out there, like Oz, and you know, he's a wide receiver 4, but like him going up there and getting that ball, I have confidence in him. Unlike those previous guys,
it's the whole team, and the mental makeup of our wideouts. I know AJ Brown is a phenomenal talent. He's super beastly. That the fact you got to double team him, if not, you're in trouble. I think we're talking about a Heisman Trophy winners. Let us not forget at his weight frame that a lot of people were just downplaying his ability. Bro, I mean, our weapons are serious. And again, let's not forget about Dallas Goedert. They said that he's making a push to play versus the 49ers if that's possible, but it's most likely he'll be ready for the Cowboys. So why not have Dallas in Dallas and beat Dallas after drafting Dallas in front of Dallas? That'll be amazing.
Did you write that down?
Yeah, I think I followed.
Did you want to give a Temple shout out? Temple Tough to Hassan Reddick when he sacks a quarterback. This is what I mean when he sacks a quarterback, when he throws him down violently and he gives but when he throws him down that violently, where they lose their balance, and then that is probably my most favorite thing to watch on a game day.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think one of my favorite things to watch from this previous game day, and it's not something we've talked about yet, but the disparity of penalties. I mean, the Buffalo Bills played themselves out of that game, if I'm being completely honest with you. I mean, penalty after penalty, just dumb decisions and there's a lot of people that aren't Eagles fans that want to point to that and be like, oh, the Eagles are getting unfair, or they're getting, unfair treatment. They're getting the benefit of the doubt from the refs and all this. If you go back and you watch the penalties, they're penalties, man. The Bills were playing undisciplined football, and they had to deal with that. They had to deal with the penalty yardage, all of that comes with it. So with this Eagles team, not only are they balling, but they're playing extremely disciplined. So that speaks to the coaches, and that speaks to the vets on this team.
Jimmy said he'll see you guys. We'll see us on Sunday. I think this game is, again, we're going to go into detail on Thursday. Prime, are you around Thursday?
I'm going to try my hardest, man. End of month is hard. I would love to be on the show because I got so much shit to talk about.
I'm going to be like,
on your own,
I'm like, yeah, how you feel? Good, man. How you feel? Great, man. We'll figure it out, because we do definitely have to break this one down. We'll bring someone in off the bench. But I think this 49er game is something that everyone's talking about already. I think, again, I love the fact that we're underdogs, but
how is that even possible, by the way?
I like it. I like it.
I'm not worried about it either. I'm just saying, like, how?
Because, man, everybody thinks the world about these 49ers and Cowboys. Yeah. So let it be, man. Let it be. I'm good. I want to be the underdog. That's why I'm saying I love it. Fucking bring the 49ers on. Like, right now at work, I got 49er fans and Cowboy fans teaming up.
Well, what's funny too.
I'm ready for it.
About the Cowboys fans is that, like, they are already Like they have a gauntlet of their own to go through.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
they're already eyeing up that Eagles game next week, talk about,
Eh.
oh, well, you guys are going to lose and we're going to win. And after we win, beat you guys, then we're going to be all tied up. It's like, you guys are writing off this first game as a win. Like you gotta get through this week first before you get to us.
Hey, you stop worrying about us. Well, you should
I
worry
was,
about.
I wouldn't sleep on Seattle. You know what I mean? I would not sleep on Seattle.
No.
So, but
Or
they
you
are.
could be, you could be sleepless in Seattle, Prime, for a big movie buff like yourself. But if you're big into traveling on the road, you mentioned Seattle. That's where I'll be going. They're having a trip that's going out to Seattle for the. I'm talking about Philly Sports Trips. You can follow them at phillysportstrips.com or Sports Trips PHL for more information. Shout out to Philly Sports Trips. We're going to Dallas in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know how I'm going to swing that. It's been an emotional roller coaster, but I felt like the first time in my life, I'm going down to Dallas, and Prime is riding with me. So we're gonna, it's gonna be Marvel. We're gonna be back to back, walking through the halls of that stadium, making sure we're good. But hey, hopefully our team comes out like superheroes down there. But shout out to Philly Sports Trips, and show them some love. If you want to go on a trip, let them know we sent you.
Yes, sir.
If you see any questions in the comments or any topics that you want to bring up,
Hollis is not in a timeout, Mark. He's just not here tonight.
Hollis is in Milwaukee on business.
Okay.
He said I'll be here next week. Jay calls Quez Dropkins. Dropped off. That's a good name.
I don't know how that's even thought of yet.
that is
Dropkins, I like that.
We got Quez Dropkins, we got Talcum Jenkins, and Milk Missile as some good names.
Chalk Dog.
Chalk Dog is a good one. This Jock Talk brings up do the Eagles need to resign Swift? I think in the land of the NFL, the running back landscape is looking pretty barren when it comes to trying to get money these days. How do you, I feel like it's a really, I don't know what it is with Swift and Hassan. They got this. I'm not gonna say a Philly edge to them, or a confidence that.
They give off vibes of the city. They identify with the city.
Young bull vibes, I feel like
I don't know though.
They got it, man.
We
got
know how Howie Roseman is with running backs. So it's one of those things that I'm enjoying the times while the times are here, but it's not a guarantee that Swift is going to be here again next year. I think that it will be the right move, but I thought last year that keeping Miles Sanders was the right move, and it wasn't. So, in Howie we trust, man.
Did you guys see? I don't know. It's funny because Deebo Samuel was one draft prospect that I love to break down. Watching his tape out of South Carolina, but this dude is he. I put out I don't know if you saw AJ Brown. He said it's
talk shit on Deebo.
He's a big whiny bitch.
Fair game to troll.
Oh man,
fair game to troll Deebo. So I put out a Morton Salt meme with him. Hopefully he saw that. Because he's still talking trash. He called James Bradbury trash. He said I'm not taking any word back.
Screw him, bro. I think like I said, the Eagles have been eyeing up this game on the calendar all year long, just like they have. We're gonna show up, and they gotta play us at home again. So
Liz says, I love being the underdog. Marissa says, she's in Dallas. She says, all they have talked about here in Dallas is our game. No mention on the Seahawks. I like that, man.
They're obsessed.
You gotta. My thing is when you see the way that the Eagles are winning, and the fact that everybody's riding on this high, everyone's trying to they want it to crumble.
Yeah.
They want it to crumble.
I put out there that, not to jump off topic, but I put out there last night. I was kind of looking, and put yourself in the mind of Howie Roseman. There's a pretty interesting name I saw that is going to be available in this offseason. One Mike Evans. Mike Evans as a free agent move the needle at all? This dude, he has 850 touchdowns. I'm sorry, 850 yards this year with fucking Baker throwing to him. I think he's got like 8 or 9 touchdowns. The dude gets 1,000 yards every year. We brought in Julio this year. Would you like to bring in a Mike Evans next year?
This guy's already like off-season GMing over there. Hey, if he wants to be with a winner,
well, there's no way he resigns with Tampa. I mean, that team's dead in the water.
Does he want the money or does he want to win? That's the biggest question.
He's had the money. He signed a 5-year.
That's
it's his decision. I mean,
if he wants to come up the way, I love it. I don't know.
I saw Mike Evans. I got a little giddy because I was like,
who's going to say no to that though?
That's a Howie Roseman move, bro.
Taylor says Prime talking shit to Cowboy fans is going to be something to behold.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I'm going to have to put a knee brace on because my torn ACL is going to have to be stable when we have to put up the Dukes.
So we're going to have to keep our cameras like on fully charged because I'm trying to go live like every moment. Stay tuned because that's going to be so much fun. So much fun.
So Donnie asks, how do you guys think the offense can get going in the first quarter? These comebacks are nice, but there's no way we can sustain this.
He said what I said earlier in the show. Yes, we can sustain it because that is what we do. We win these games. How can we get the offense started in the first quarter? Dude, we got to answer that question. We got to stop drifting away from the run. Like, I don't understand all of these, come out, pass 3 times, 3 and out. What is up with that? We are a well-balanced offense. We have great wide receivers. We have a great running back. You got to be balanced, and to come out just firing doesn't make any sense. So establish the run. That's how I think we get hot in the first.
Especially if a team like the Bills, who were susceptible to the run, in terms of where they're at as a team, that's we have to, when they're giving up those kind of numbers, run on a team. Especially having lane out, might as well try and do that. I had some numbers here. The Eagles had 185 yards rushing on 32 carries. DeAndre Swift had 14 carries for 80 yards with a 36-yard run. Bro, when they started running the ball, it ignites this offense.
I have a suggestion as well. Can we stop with the Julio screens? Julio,
oh my God,
is not a burner, bro. We are talking about a Julio that is in the late stages of his career. We can cut it out with the. I'd rather see a Quez screen, bro. I'd rather see a Quez screen than a Julio screen, please.
That was one of the main reasons why I almost walked out, and because again, I was tired of the rain, heavy on the wet clothes. Luckily, it wasn't like cold. But the play calling, back to the comment we just saw a little while ago, like, yeah, man, it was frustrating seeing that first half. The play calling was just ridiculous. First series, all passes, not one time did they run the ball. Then when they needed to run it, they were throwing it. When they needed to throw it, they were running it. It just didn't make sense. They were just like backwards on the decision making that they were making in that game. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, I'm going to be straight up. Like, I was really that close. Me and Gail were just really talking because we were just fed up, man. This is 2 weeks in a row now we dealt with rain. And I didn't want to sit there seeing this shit. I didn't know what the outcome of this game was going to be like. And then when that screen came, Evan, that was it for me, man. Like, that was the nail in the coffin on me getting out of there. Like, hell no. If this is what we're going to be seeing, I'm out, man. Like, I'll take this L to the chin. You know what I mean? And look at it as like, it's not in the NFC. It's not really going to hurt us. But all we're doing is just giving one game back to these guys that are like literally right behind us. So what are we doing here? But I said it. I said, man, the one drive, if they go 3 and out, I might walk out of here, man. Are you with me? And Gail was looking. He was like almost there with me. But it wasn't a 3 and out. The goddamn team found a way to still keep me in, still reel me in. And you know, I mean, and of course, the Bills in front of us, the shit talking that was going on. Like, I was like, man, fuck it, we're gonna ride this thing out. We rode this thing out all the way.
That guy from the game in KC that was sitting next to you would have had your neck, bro.
Talk about that game. Definitely had my leg. Like, where the fuck you going?
I was like, I'm not letting these Bills fans have the energy, but you know,
half of them were going. Half of them were going. What when he made the field goal? Half of them were going, and then
really, as they were heading into overtime, they were getting out.
As they were heading into overtime, half of them left. That was the breakdown. All the shit talking that was going on, half of them left, and then that was the little young boy that was hiding behind the two big guys. That part left. Yep. The part that stayed was the part that was there from the beginning. But when Swift had his second big run that led up to Jalen's game-winning rush, yo, that crew, Dawkins family, left. I got up on the seat like, where y'all going? Like, this game ain't over. Yo, the next play, oh man, when Jalen ran it, I was like, yeah. But I tell you what, what did I do? I went out there in that hall and I went
we found him.
We found them.
We found him.
We found them.
He go nowhere. He go nowhere. And then right after that, we got our exclusive. The Eagles were giving out these posters here.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Man.
That is pretty cool. And I might have an extra one that we can give away. See, I was like, I was holding one under my underpit, so I was like, this could be an amazing giveaway.
They handed them out as you were leaving, or what was that?
Yeah. So this looked great in the man cave.
I got one for you.
If you look up close, it's got Jalen next to Black Panther, next to Captain America, the Hulk. This has got to be in your man cave. So I'll leave it up to F with a good trivia question.
Oh, bro! Like you gotta let me know when you're doing a trivia question.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know until this moment.
Yeah, right.
Come on, man! This is the wing it moment. That's what we call this.
Trivia time. Shout out to I just want to just say we appreciate you guys in the comments. Yo, shout out to Todd. If you know Todd in the comments, he came. He was with Puna Ford's dad at the tailgate, and I know Prime was like trying to get him to eat tomato pie. He's like, man, you got to try this tomato pie. He's like, I don't know about that. He tried it though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but shout out to Todd.
My man that I was talking about earlier, his name is Ray. Shout out to Ray. Ray showed up at the tailgate. He's the CSC security worker that showed up to our tailgate. Shout out to him.
It was a good meeting him as well. Yeah. But again, if you guys are in the comments, a little trivia time. Get you this poster. Someone's gonna get it.
As soon as Evan.
I mean, you guys are free to look for a trivia question.
But like even Mark is telling you, come on, man. Yo, everybody's already on their phones getting ready to go get the answers.
I'm surprised we made it out of there with this poster. Like, there's a little water divots in there, but when you get it in a frame, you'll be all right. I don't know what this thing on the back is though.
Did you try QR coding it?
Is that what it is? You can.
I forgot how many I walked out of there with.
Yeah. I don't know if I could deal with another rain game. To be honest, this week.
Like the thing is that I'm gonna end up saying this, and then y'all bitches are gonna be, that's a fucking awful question. Why didn't you think of something better? All right. So let's do this.
This fucking guy.
Hey man, you put me on the spot. So Brandon Graham passed David Akers for most games played, right? By an Eagles player. I want you to tell me the third one on the list is Jason Kelce. So that's a gimme. I want you to tell me the next offensive player that has the most games played for the Eagles. First one to do so wins.
Oh, that's the easy one.
It's go fuck yourself.
First one.
That was his
How about
opportunity.
next time you want to give something away, you come with the question too.
No, it's actually not that. You'd have to be.
The next offensive player.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh.
Jason Peters.
Nope.
Andrew says Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson.
It is not Lane Johnson.
Chris says Lane Johnson. Pete says Lane Johnson.
Nope.
Say the question again.
This ain't a bad question, is it? So
Ron Jaworski.
Nope. It is the offensive player below Jason Kelsey with the most games played for the Eagles. David Akers of special teams.
Mark Bird says
Harold
John
Carmichael. Daz, I think, got it first.
Oh, yeah, Daz did get it.
Yep. Harold Carmichael with 180 games.
Hey, Daz, send your address to 4th and Jawn at gmail.com. And we'll get that out to you.
Not a bad question.
That was pretty great. That's a pretty great question, Evan.
Thanks.
Pete's like, they Googled.
Of course they did. So did I to find the question.
But a shout out to you guys for sticking around in the comments. We appreciate all your comments. I think everyone's been excited to talk about the Eagles. Who would not be excited to talk about the Eagles? I was talking to Kincaid after the game, and I was just like, dude, I just need to get something off my chest. I was like, it was just great. It was one of the greatest games that I've been to live. I mean, besides NFC Championship, winning that game, that was a great game. But I just felt like, as a fan, and being like, we've been following this team all over the country. The fact that you got to stick it in, you got to ride it out with this team. They're not letting you down, and all these guys on the squad make you proud. Even from the punt returner to special teams guys, the younger guys on special teams that are giving it their all. Everyone's coming together, making plays, dude. I'm proud of these dudes. Mr. iFlow, he says, that Falcons game is up there. We were right next to each other. I remember I grabbed someone's child, and I don't know how. I was like, that was a great moment. I felt like an earthquake when they won. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to you, man.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Let's see. That Chris says, check that QR code. Maybe it's a link where you can order a poster. Yeah, it brings you to the Eagles site, where you can. It's Avery Dennison. I don't know. You have to check it out. It brings you to the Eagles website. But before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to Bud Light for holding us down at the tailgate. People were drinking up the buds. I had some Kelly Green buds out there, Bud Lights. People were sipping them up, fighting over those. Couldn't get out of. As soon as I pulled them out, people wanted them. But shout out to Contract and Tide Bakery. Always a great time. They released the new Josh Sweat Pie. Josh Sweat Pie was insane. If you want to hit them up on socials, tell them what the next pie should be.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know we send you. What kind of pie? Who do you want to see on a tomato pie? How about that?
I like that.
Also, shout out to Rebel for holding it down. I know Ev has been thoroughly energized. You still working on that case?
Yep. I'm gonna need a freshie.
I'm gonna need a re-up.
Yep, I need a re-up.
Shout out to Rebel for holding you guys down. I've never felt like a bartender, but the amount of Red Bull and vodkas that I've served up at tailgates has been amazing.
Yeah, you might need to start giving out those 1-800 alcoholic cards as you're pouring these shits. I'm watching Gail Sunday pouring these things into these bottles, and I'm like, Jesus Lord. Like,
One woman was like, "Can you just pour straight vodka in my cup?" And I was like, "Whoa, lady,
take it easy."
Yeah,
it's 11 a.m.
It is not that kind of party. It is not that. Mark asked if any hat stealing crazy ladies these days. Nope.
Not this time, Mark. Chris was in the building. Shout out to Chris, man. You know what I mean? Holding it down for us always. But Yeah, he talked about the story to Evan. He told Evan the story.
That was crazy. Chris was like, "My glasses." Let's see. Robert Morris brings up how he bring Reich home to give Brian Johnson the Heimlich. Well, I mean, what would you feel like Brian Johnson, the vibes if they brought him in? Would you feel like that would push him to, his team's 10-1 right now. I think.
Yeah, I think it'd make things weird when you don't need to make things weird. But this is also on the heels of me finally conceding to Hollis that we were winning in spite of Gannon last year. So,
is that are you feeling that way about Brian Johnson?
No, I think that the Gannon was more checked out and more kind of like clueless. I think that Brian Johnson is smart and he has a good rapport with Jalen, obviously, but
your Mike F. He is 100. Mike, he got like a $200,000 mic, and it's acting up.
I heard.
He's so proud of that mic.
Now he doesn't.
Now we can't hear
now you can't hear you. Period. Now we can't hear
200,000, 300. It's actually a $300,000.
He just
mic.
Devalued his mic right now. Well, picking up from what Evan was trying to say, you're kind of there. You're kind of there.
Near me, you can't.
Now I can hear you. I can hear you.
First of all, dickhead, it's not the microphone, it's the computer. This computer's from fucking 1847. That's the issue.
You got a new Mac.
No, I don't.
That was me.
Newer?
This is from when I was still in school, bro. I've been graduated for quite some time now.
Okay, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, when you guys come to the tailgates on Sunday, all right, y'all need to drop at least a 5 or a dub or something. We got to get this man a new computer, all right? We got to work on that. He doesn't want to start an OnlyFans account, but he wants to get that computer. So we got to help him out some way, somehow. The holiday seasons are here. It's all about giving.
I do want to, in regards to the tips, I do want to say a big thank you to everybody that put something in that tip jar, because that was the most I had made in tips at these tailgates at this past tailgate. So that was a good day for tips. And then there was also a little surprise at the bottom for me in there too. That was pretty nice. I had that after the game, little victory moment.
Also, we want to talk about the we're gonna have a little tree out there or something where you can drop some presents for the kids. We're gonna team up with the Goofy Gators. I'll be calling Aaron about that. Again, if you want to give a gift to we're dealing with families that with children with autism. It's always good to give back to community. If you want to give back, let us know, and we will get presents for the kids. We will go to the store and get presents for the kids. You let me know how you want to send it. I'll go grab some presents for the kids. But just if you want to be a part of the tailgate next week, it's a free tailgate. We never ask for anything. If you want to bring a toy for a kid, that's always a cool thing, man. It's Christmas is around the season. The season's all about giving. I actually put my Christmas tree up already.
Wow, that's
good.
I read
real tree or fake tree?
Fake.
That's why.
It has history.
Yeah.
So we put the tree up. I heard that the earlier you put the tree up, the better vibes you get from just having the tree up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the vibes are falling right now. The tree's lit up. I'm like, I'm ready for the Christmas season. Hey, when is it? Is it too early to put up a Christmas tree?
No,
when is it too late?
I put it up early as hell last year. I think I put mine up like a week before Thanksgiving last year.
That's cool. I mean, but the whole it makes you feel more into it. Yeah. Okay.
Last year was way too early because I do real tree and I put that shit up mad early, and so mine was like begging to be put out. by Christmas time. It was like it was dead as shit.
Pete asked, the toy drive is starting now. So we're gonna go bring some toys and put them at the tree. We'll be giving out some banana pudding. We'll have cheesesteaks on deck. And then not Evan. Shout out to Alex. He's got some tacos.
Prime screws. You see my
Very
wife?
nice.
Yeah,
Very
my
nice.
wife was shot out. You see this? That's why.
Wow. Prime
why,
is a
man.
Scrooge? You're not. Do you have
She's
the?
been bugging me about the goddamn tree and the decoration.
You got the green
Still ain't
lights
even
up behind
December yet.
you. What's the big
Come on,
deal?
man,
Green
you're not
light.
helping the situation now. Now she's gonna throw that in my face. You can put the goddamn lights up in the cave, but you can't put them out in the house. You see, you just gave her ammunition. Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually I watched The Grinch for the first time ever.
How? What have you been doing?
Holy shit!
I've never seen The Grinch, the original one.
The original, like the cartoon.
Is that I think that's
Yeah.
a moment for you to throw away your black card.
I was like, but also because I also a tradition that we have in our family, we watch Christmas movies. The Elf.
Yo, hold up, Pete. Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, guy. I don't mean to cut you off. I love Christmas. It is my favorite holiday of the season. But let me tell you something. Since my wife wants to call me Scrooge, and I hope she's looking right now. Yes, it sucks when you're the only one going up in that goddamn attic to go get all this shit to bring it down. Okay.
Sound like a Scrooge right now.
Yeah, I'm in my feelings.
Sound
I'm in my
like a
feelings
Scrooge right now.
That shit sucks. I gotta play the Chevy Chase and watch where the hell I'm stepping so my foot doesn't go through the goddamn ceiling. You know what I mean? So yeah, it sucks, bro. It sucks. My big ass in that attic is not fun. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
So, question before we get out of here: best Christmas movie?
Christmas Vacation.
Strong.
Why do I have a feeling Evan's gonna come out saying Die Hard?
No, I'm actually I'm actually anti people calling Die Hard a Christmas movie.
I had that conversation this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, not this morning. This weekend.
I'm gonna go outside the box. I'm gonna go Home Alone.
My kids love that movie.
The original Home Alone. It's solid.
Yeah. My wife
Mustafa says
Elf.
A Christmas Story. We have
Year Without a Santa Claus is also a strong contender. I love the Heat Miser song. Love the Heat Miser.
Marissa says National Lampoon is the
Story.
best Christmas movie.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Christmas movie is good, but Christmas Story is definitely my all-time favorite. I've actually gone a whole day and watched the marathon. A whole day.
I also was watching what's it called, the original The Santa Claus with Tim Allen the other night. Dude,
The
I had
first
no
one?
idea the first one. I had no idea that movie came out in '94. Like I thought that came out when I was like a little kid. Like that came out.
I think they're
before I was
working
born,
on like
bro.
I think now they moved it to Disney where it's like Santa Claus Part 7.
Yeah,
They
dumbed down,
already
but
went too
yeah.
far.
Ray says Bad Santa was his dad's Christmas Story.
Of course.
Aaron says Gremlins 1.
Okay.
Wink says
go.
Trading Places.
Okay.
In a cool tone says Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Ev, shots fired, man.
Disagree.
Our own resident Scrooge in the comments says Home Alone's can't beat it.
1 and 2.
Yippee-ki-yay,
My whole thought on the Die Hard thing, they say it's a Christmas movie simply because the movie takes place during Christmas time. In that case, the Harry Potter series is a Christmas movie because I mean they have Christmas parts in all those movies too. Like, are they Christmas movies?
Oh
They're
boy,
not.
here we go.
Got me riled up.
I haven't seen Bad. You guys see Bad Santa?
Yes.
Years ago, a long time ago.
Haven't seen that.
And I know why he likes Bad Santa.
Why?
You gotta watch the movie to understand, man. Too many kids is watching right now.
Taylor says Aussies put their Christmas trees up in October because we don't celebrate Thanksgiving here.
Oh,
Interesting.
that is interesting.
You ever heard of House Guest?
Yeah, that was pretty funny with Steve Martin and Queen Latifah.
Michael with a throwback Miracle on 34th Street.
Too damn long for me, man.
But before we get out of here, just want to thank everybody in the comments for sticking around. I know Eagle fans are excited. We know we got a big game coming up this weekend. We'll have some 49ers talk on Thursday. So we'll figure it out. But last word before we get out of here, we'll start with you, Primo. Last word.
Shout out to everybody that came through on Sunday. Yeah, real ones stuck it out. Me and Gail, we did our thing. We were able to enjoy that victory, walking out of that stadium with our heads high. Just be safe this week. We got a big game this Sunday. This is the one that I definitely circled on the calendar.
Mike's
wait.
A little effy.
Can't wait to. It's probably my phones are dying, but I can't wait to.
Hey, Ev, is this mic messed up?
No, it's your headphones.
Nah, bro, I think it's you. Because when you said Evan's mic was
that's what I
fucked up,
thought.
I heard him loud
Primo,
and
you
clear.
sounded loud and clear to me, bro.
Yeah,
You keep going.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. You know what I mean? So go get your shit checked out. Let's reiterate that Gail might need a new computer. So if you guys want to go ahead and contribute this upcoming Sunday at the tailgate, we can switch it over to Gail.
New computers for everybody.
Yeah, new computers for everybody. You know
Forget us, man. Bring something for the kids. Bring a toy for the kids. Forget us. Bring something for the children.
Well, with that being said, go Birds. See y'all next Sunday. You know what I mean? Because this is the big one. This is the shit talking game that we've been waiting for all season.
Yeah, man. Just got to keep the ball rolling. Shout out to the freaking Eagles, bro, for being the best team in the league. Shout out to Jalen Hurts for being an absolute dog. Same to Jake Elliott. It's an exciting time right now, man. We're very fortunate. I was thinking about this recently to be starting this podcast. When we started this podcast in 2016, like we have seen some successful Eagles teams in the existence of this podcast. Like I couldn't imagine being like I don't know, man, like a Jacksonville Jaguars podcast or some shit like that. Like we're just looking for anything to talk about, any sort of string of hope to hold on to. We've got a legitimate team, and we have a legitimate shot at winning the Super Bowl this year. Let's freaking go Birds.
Let's go.
Last word, man. I just appreciate everyone that supports the tailgate. Again, next coming tailgate, we'll be having Alex with the tacos, Evan with the famous cheesesteaks. We'll have Jennifer Slade with the famous banana pudding, and we'll be bringing the vibes, man. I think everyone's just been waiting for this game. I think we've been waiting for this game ever since the 49ers started talking shit. Mr. Ifla will be doing predictions for the next show, a little breakdown. But just last word, man. Appreciate everybody in the comments. Appreciate all you Eagle fans sticking it out and riding the wave, supporting this team all across the country. So many people are making out to these games. It's phenomenal meeting you guys on the road, hearing all your Eagle stories and how you became fans and making great relationships as we go. But we'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, it's Fly Eagles. Fly.
Go Birds.
Just gotta hit the button. Just gotta hit the button.